Hi, my name is Casey Browning and I'm from Retroactive Arcade. I'm going to do a quick overview and review of the Pandora's Box 6 gaming station. I will also mention the 9D gaming station as well. I'll keep that segment off to the side a little bit because they do look identical. So the only difference and stuff is in the menu. So I will talk about that in a bit. Now, Pandora's Box 6, everybody's been talking, ranting, and raving about it for a really long time. There's lots of kind of weird, conflicting information on the internet about it. We deal with the suppliers day in, day out about different things on it. So I'd like to clarify some of those myths or misconceptions or anything else that may be out there about these Pandora's Box 6. They don't get much simpler than this. It's all the games you'd ever want in a small little game station that plugs into pretty much any TV, monitor, you name it. They are plug and play, ready right out of the box. There has been some reports that some of these things have been shipped without games and stuff in it, so I guess it depends on the location that you live in, country, state, province, that type of a thing. Some of the laws having to do with that might prohibit them from including the games and such with the actual box itself. Just to be clear on ours currently come with all the games, always have, so they're preloaded, ready to rock. You don't have to worry about any surprises during shipping. So for us, to be clear on our thing, our website, what this is Style 1 on our website. So this is kind of like the higher version of what we carry for these. So it's the better version, I guess, not only for strength but style, design, that type of a thing as well. And we have a Style 2 that's a little bit more simplistic. It doesn't have all the extra buttons up top. It does have a player 1, player 2, and a coin in the center. That's the only thing that's different except for these buttons. These buttons, actually, most of them are dead and don't really work for anything. They are designed for a different console that allows you to plug it into a PS2 or a PS3 and all that kind of good stuff and use this as a controller, but the games inside are not active. That's something different, but that's an explanation of why all these buttons are here and they're not really usable. With that being said, there's a lot of differences of these boxes out there, or game stations, however you want to put it. The misconception right out of the gate is that this is a Pandora's box. A Pandora's box is the game board that's in it. It comes in multiple different varieties and versions for different adaptations, or it has a versatile use to it. The board that's in here is called the home version. There's also a JAMA version that works as a JAMA board that gives you multiple games, and you can swap it out to use the JAMA harness in like an arcade machine, that type of a thing. So that's another misconception about what these are. These are just the game station, so it's the housing around the actual Pandora's box itself that allows you to play and plug and play and ready to go. All these versions that are different, the way you can kind of tell that it's not a knockoff, it's not a clone, it's not an issue, there's a lot of that out there. The OEM versions basically have a box inside, it's stamped 3A from 3A game. I'll show you the contents of the box itself that gives you that kind of authenticity of knowing that you actually didn't buy a clone. If you've got one of the ones, or you're looking at one of the ones that have a wood top on them, they're definitely a clone. They're a knockoff. Guys get them super cheap, and then they sell them for as much as they possibly can, and they sell a bunch of them because they get them as cheap as possible and buy 100, 200 of them at a time. We don't do that. We kind of sell them as we buy them and keep going from there. It takes them a really long time to make these ones, so basically I could order 100 and it's going to take them a month or two to get them to me. So basically we just continuously sell them, and then we tell them which ones to make as they're going. So we have a 1 to 2 week time period, whether we have it in stock or not. If we have it in stock, it ships out right away. If we don't, it'll be here within a week to 2 weeks maximum, and then we ship it out to you. It's not us trying to pre-sell them. It's just there's no way to possibly predict what machine you want, whether you want a 60, a 90, you want the wireless version, or what decal you want, that type of a thing. There's too many variations and we don't make them, so this is the only way that we can kind of control what comes in and out of here for what you're paying for. The quality on the inside, as you can see, is very simplistic, but it's tight, it's nice and neat. this kind of green translucent board. It is a authentic OEM Pandora's Box 6. The Pandora's Box 9D looks identical except for its opaque black. There is some subtle differences, which I will go over as I go over this 6. I'll tell you what the 9 is and does. Overall, the actual board itself, everything that's inside here, looks almost identical. You can swap out the 9D to the 6 on either one of these, and they'll work perfectly fine. So they are, I guess, in a sense, upgradable. It's just really hard to get a hold of that home version board that's in here. So I'll flip it around so you can see the access point of the actual Pandora's box that's inside. So this one, like I said, is a 6. It comes with the translucent green. This one here, you can also notice the 9 is the same way. It has the power, has your HDMI, has your VGA, has your volume control right here, and then it has a 3.5 millimeter output for headphone jacks and stuff, so that the sound can either go through your TV. It has an onboard speaker where you can use the sound from it, which is actually not too bad for the small speaker that you probably saw inside here. It's actually quite impressive for what that is. And basically when you put that in, it'll cancel out all the sound and just play it in your ears, so that you can play in the middle of the night without family, that type of thing, with disturbing other people. This one here, you can kind of see there's a little black button there. That gets you into the menu system. So when you're looking at the manual and stuff, it'll say go into the menu. Then you can change game settings. You can change your coin settings. You can change a bunch of different difficulty levels, lives, that type of a thing. That's all from pressing that button there. It'll give you a whole way of testing all your buttons, make sure they're all working, so on and so forth. The big difference between the Pandora's Box 6, which has been around for a really long time, probably about, when I say really long time, but that just means about 2 years, 2.5 years. It's actually November of 2019 right now. So with that being said, the Pandora's Box 6 comes with a USB stick, and it has all the games and ROMs on that. Theoretically, you can add games to it. You can take games off. You can do all that stuff. I'm not really going to get into how the games are made and stuff, but these systems run off of Android, and all the ROMs that are in there have been recreated for Android, so it's really hard to find games to download and put on and do all that stuff. I'm not saying it's impossible. I haven't really checked. I haven't delved that far into it yet, so if anybody has done it and wants to give me a link or show me something or tell me about that kind of a thing, I'd gladly go deeper into that. I just haven't had time on my own to go and do that. The USB ports on here, they're pretty much dead, and there would only be for diagnostics, sending back to the manufacturer on the Pandora's Box 6. On the Pandora Box 9D, you can actually plug in a controller just like this, so anything that's a USB controller. These ones are just nice little cheap ones. We sell them for like 15 bucks. The 9D allows for up like 4-player games. I think there's 10 or 15 3 and 4 player games added to that list. The difference between the game list, which I will post under this video, for the 6 and the 9D. The 6 has 1,300 games. The 9D has 2,500 games. It's got I think it's 10 3D games, and it's 10 or 15 3 to 4 player games. So they're kind of cool, but you have to add the extra controller for the 3rd and 4th player. Other than that, there's not much else to show you except for a live kind of demo of the way it works. So what I'm going to do is we'll take it over to a little monitor, we'll plug it in, and I'll show you how the menu works, and we'll go through that, and then I'll kind of explain the differences between the 6 and the 9D. Okay, so before I get to the actual demo itself, I wanted to go over what you should expect for an actual OEM product, which is an original, not a fake, not a clone, that type of thing. This is strictly from 3A Game. It's kind of the little hints and triggers that are going to allow you to know that you're getting an authentic game station instead of those clones that are floating around out there that I hear a lot through our YouTube channel and stuff. People are always worried that they got a clone, and then they go, oh, for sure, yeah, they did. One of the things you're going to look for is the box. So the box is going to kind of go like this. It's going to look pretty much standard like this. It's a professional box. It's not just wrapped in, kind of this yellowy orange tape that they always do it with. And then above and beyond that, we'll show you what it comes with. It should come with a whole bunch of things. So you get a long 20-foot USB cable. You should get your power cable, which should be about, I think it's 9 feet, I believe. It doesn't say labeled on there, and I haven't measured for a little bit, but they keep changing it up. Could be 6 feet, could be 9 feet, could be a 12-foot one. It just depends on the version. China's not always consistent. 20-foot HDMI cable, and then you've got a 20-foot VGA cable, so it'll hook up to your TV, your monitor, that type of a thing. Your power supply that you'll convert for, it is a switching one that'll convert. Most of the time, it's just the only difference is the one has an American plug and one will have like an Aussie plug, or it'll have a Europe plug or that type of a thing, but the power supply is exactly the same. It should come with at least 2 buttons for replacement. These ones are LED, so these ones are imperative. You really want to have these ones because if a light goes out on one of these, it is easy to replace, but it's still a pain in the butt and it kind of looks weird when there's one that's not showing. Now, the big thing that you really want, obviously, is your manual and that, but this is a certificate of authenticity. Now, it doesn't look like much, and when you look at it and it's printed, it's kind of printed hokey that way in a sense, but they've been including these in the boxes to show that they are directly from the manufacturer of 3A game. If you're getting your game station without that, then you definitely have a clone for sure. You want to be able to see that in there. Nothing that we ship out doesn't have this, so everything is guaranteed to be direct from the manufacturer. It is an original OEM version, so you're good to go that way. Other than that, it should be packed nice. They ship amazing. Haven't really had any damages on them. We ourselves only do a 30-day manufacturer defect kind of warranty on them, and I think we probably have fixed 3 in the past 2 years. So they come in, they're pretty robust, they're pretty good. I don't really see anybody having any issues with them, but we're also a large supplier of arcade parts, so we can supply you any replacements, fixes, that type of a thing. And we also offer upgrades, and we offer them right when you're checking out through our website. So I will get on and show you the demo. Okay, so demo of the Pandora's Box 6. So the 9 looks very similar and stuff as well, but I'll go through the differences of both, but I'm basically reviewing the 6. It's more popular, there's a lot of reasons why, and I'll go over them now. So basically you can see up in the corner, all these games are in alphabetical order, but not only that, they're also in genre. So you've got flying games, stage games, you've got sport games, you've got fighting games, you've got puzzle games, so on and so forth. So that's what's unique to Pandora's Box 6. Why they abandoned it when they went to 9D, I'm not sure, but you've got 2,500 games that are haphazardly put in that are definitely not in alphabetical order. So it makes it very frustrating. That makes the Pandora's Box 6 that much more appealing. Now the menu and obviously alphabetical order. There's only 1,300 games in it versus the 2,500, but people tend to outweigh that and end up going with the 6 anyway because of the higher quality and the version of it. So basically on the top here I'm going to hit start. When I go into the start menu, basically I can go alphabetical, so I can do a quick search. So if I want to go say Mortal Kombat, I go down to M, I hit my A button, and now I'm in M. Up and down is one at a time. Left and right is a screen at a time, so I can just go down to Mortal Kombat pretty quickly. And then I got Mortal Kombat 1, 2, 3, and 4. So as you can see, you're not really missing out on the Pandora's Box 6 with 1,300 games. It's got all the really good quality games on it. Pandora's Box 9D, I find that there's a lot of filler on there. There's a lot of spelling mistakes and stuff too, like Simpsons Bowling is actually The Simpsons, which is a 4-player game. So they kind of haven't refined that one as much as this one. I don't find any mistakes like that on Pandora's Box 6. Let's go back into the start. So I want to go over to the left side. So I've got fighting, action, shooting, sports, and puzzles. So if I just want to go to, say, shooting games, I choose that. It'll bring up only the shooting games in alphabetical order. There's lots of different ways for you to be able to kind of go through and search the games and stuff, which makes it a lot faster, a lot easier, that type of a thing. So that's the main difference between those two. Honestly, showing you the Pandora's Box 9D isn't really worth it because This one shows you how this menu works, and 9D just doesn't have one. The only thing that 9D has over this one is you're able to make your own favorites list. That's when you go into the main menu and do all that stuff. I had mentioned that before earlier in the video, that you can go into the menu and change all the games and test everything. So I'm going to go into the menu now. It's that little black button on the back there. Can't show it to you right now, but if you want to rewind in the video or just look on the back of your game station, it's pretty apparent. It's right there. So I just press it. It'll kind of blank out. Okay, perfect. So now we're in the main menu. It's got some weird English kind of music theme in the background. See if I can turn it down. It's always louder than in-game play for some reason, so you want to do the same. I/O test, we're going to go there first. If you go into it, basically what it does is it's giving you your layout. This is how you test your game station. So you make sure it's working properly, that type of thing. If you have a button or a direction that you're thinking is not working in a game, and it's kind of, you feel like it's just, for some reason there's no connection, like you're not going left, or the button's not working properly, or it's intermittent, this is where you go to test all that stuff. So it's like, you know, you're testing your buttons, they're all working, your directions, it'll tell you all that, as well as, so it'll give you your 8-way direction. You got your start, you got your coin, your start on the other side. So everything's working on this one, everything's all good. Then it tells you to get out, you got to press start and A together. Just read all the stuff in the menu on the bottom. It'll tell you. It's very, very, very user friendly. Custom button settings, this is where you would go in. You can change all your buttons to your layout that you want them to be. Just remember that once you change this, it'll be changed for all the games across the board. It's just so you don't have to physically go in and change the wires if you don't like the way these are working. So it's pretty user friendly that way. The 9D has this as well. So yeah, it's pretty straightforward. It's making me save it. I haven't done anything, but basically you can go into system configuration. This is where you would go in. Usually it'll say 1 credit for one thing, so you press your coin to get your credit to be able to play. When you get this and you don't, and it's usually set to that coin and not to free play like this one, you have to press coin before you activate the menu and play games and go in and do all that stuff. I set it to free play because people want to play it right out of the gate. Exit game mode, blah blah blah, pause menu. You want to keep the pause menu on, that type of thing. Everything else is pretty much, you know, the way you would want it. Game setting, this is where you would go in. You can see where you've got difficulty lives, edit your game list, you can edit your favorite list. So this one is allowing me to do favorites. I've not messed around with the favorites list on the Pandora's Box 6. I've had to do it on the 9D just because the games aren't in alphabetical order, so it's really hard to do. So bookkeeping, it doesn't really mean much there. It's just kind of, yeah, this is, the password is what it says right there, so it's pretty simple. Inside speaker, so this one is the one we get a lot of questions about. So you can turn this speaker on or off. So what we've been listening to the whole time here is the onboard speaker for this. It's not coming through the monitor or anything. So you can just turn it off. That means you're only going to get sound through HDMI out, and you're only going to get it through your 3.5mm for headphone jack. Obviously you can change the language, and if you mess with a whole bunch of stuff and you don't know what you did and you want to go back to the way you got it when we sent it to you, or you got it from wherever, just go to the factory settings, reboot, hit OK. It'll just redo everything the way it was. For save setting and reboot, everything that I've done in here, I haven't really done anything that I want to change or care about, but as it sits right now, the only way to get out is to do the save setting and reboot. So you hit OK, you hit yes, it'll save, and then it reboots. It takes about 30 seconds to a minute to reboot. So I'm probably not going to go through the process here, but I will finish up saying that, that there's very minor differences between the Pandora's Box 9D and the Pandora's 6 for like appearance and the way it looks. The major difference is that menu system. So you have to weigh the pros and the cons on which ones you want and that type of thing. But you can be assured with us that if you order through us, you are going to get an OEM original game station with whatever Pandora's box that you choose. and we do warranty it, and we know a heck of a lot about them, and we do offer an upgrade package for all of them as well, seeing as though the joysticks themselves are clones. The buttons are really good for LED. They're not upgradable, but they are Sanwa clones for the non-LEDs, so we do sell Sanwa buttons, and we actually do the upgrade before we send it to you, and then we send you all the buttons, joysticks, whatever we've taken out as extra with the package when it goes out. So hopefully you enjoyed, hopefully I answered a bunch of questions. If you have any questions about anything that I haven't said anything about, you can feel free to just post at the bottom of this video or contact us through www.retroactivearcade.ca, and thanks again for watching.